Portland's energy center. This is the front line for the climate fight here in Toronto. This is our target. It's Toronto's largest polluter. And so we got to stand up. We're going to push to see this Portland's energy center shut down. You know that the climate crisis is not a future thing. It's not a distant thing. It's a here and now thing.
So I'm here to tell you all a little bit about what it feels like to be a youth at this stage in the climate crisis. And I can pretty much sum it up with 3 words. Pretty goddamn crappy. And that's the clean version. Our society seems to be in a state of mass hysteria where no one really understands the precipice that we're running towards.
We remember the fires the summer before last. The smoke clouded the air here in Toronto. It clouded out Ottawa. And then, this year we had, the city of Jasper decimated by a wildfire. And then we had the floods here in Toronto. We had a heat wave in Toronto. This climate crisis is here today. It's taking lives.
Ontario's electricity is getting dirtier in the middle of a climate crisis. Ford government is ramping up gas.
Fossil fuel executives and many of the politicians supporting them have no shame in stealing our futures and pushing our societies into climate chaos and turmoil.
In 2017, Ontario's grid was just 4% gas power, 4% fossil fueled. And by 2030, a quarter of our electricity will come from dirty gas.
The deadline by which we need to cut global emissions in half to maintain a livable planet is fast approaching, and emissions haven't started falling.
We need to stand up against our government, unfortunately, to get them to do more to fight climate change, but instead, they're ramping up the use of gas plants, they're extending the contracts of gas plants.
We could shut down the Portland's gas plant and replace it with a combination of wind, water, solar, conservation, storage easily. And we could do that by 2030, and that's the right thing to do to meet our climate commitments.
Despite what it might seem like, I'm not a pessimist, but I'm also not an optimist. Pessimism and optimism are ultimately passive, deterministic mindsets. So I choose to be an activist instead. The future is ours to shape.
So we have to be pushing for them to close the gas plant. They can't just keep extending the contract. They can't just keep running it 18, 20 hours a day, however many hours a day. It needs to be shut down, and that's what you guys are pushing for. So it's great that you're out here today.